Zhou Fight and the Lord of 10,000 Evils looked up at the Ultimate Void Race army. In the beginning, they were puzzled as to why these Ultimate Void Race god spirits did not attack them. However, soon, the Lord of 10,000 Evils and Zhou Fight discovered a vast amount of war machines, war treasures, and military formations among the 50 billion Ultimate Void God spirits. There was no lack of supreme god-level machinery, treasures, and military formations to AT this moment. They were quickly accumulating energy. After accumulating energy, they would release their shocking attack. When the Lord of 10,000 Evils saw this scene, his face immediately turned pale. He immediately looked around and indeed found that they were already surrounded by multiple supreme god-level arrays. They were simply like turtles in a jar, unable to escape even if they wanted to. This is going to be tough. The Lord of 10,000 Evils' expression turned ugly. He looked at Zhou Fight and found that he was still calm and composed. The Lord of 10,000 Evils couldn't help but feel curious. This brother common people's regal was clearly just a newly promoted reserve supreme lord. But why did he seem to be even calmer than he in the face of such a crisis? He had a few treasures bestowed by the supreme will. He was confident that he could protect him, which was why he was so calm. Where was the common people's regal? He had only risen for a short period of time. The supreme will probably didn't give him much good stuff, right? Brother common people's regal. The other party is about to attack. Do you have any way to deal with it? Lord of 10,000 Evils could not help but ask. We wait. Zhou Fight said, wait. The Lord of 10,000 Evils was stunned. Just as he was about to ask a few more questions, he saw Zhou Fight's gaze suddenly freeze. Here we go, he said in a deep voice. What's coming? The Lord of 10,000 Evils subconsciously looked up, but his expression instantly changed. The vast amount of war machines, war treasures, and military formations had already accumulated their energy. They aimed at the army of the blazing sun divine kingdom and Lord of 10,000 Evils, ready to attack at any moment. The Lord of 10,000 Evils looked from afar. It was as if they could see Rhoda, the grade 4 supreme god of the void, smile at them and spit out a word, die. The next second, boom, 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 boom. The earth-shattering cannon fire carried the terrifying might of the supreme laws. Like a dense meteor shower, it attacked the 10 billion god spirits of the blazing sun divine kingdom and Lord of 10,000 Evils. The earth-shattering cannon fire carried the terrifying might of the supreme laws. Like a dense meteor shower, it attacked the 10 billion god spirits of the blazing sun divine kingdom and Lord of 10,000 Evils. Finally, there were the spirits of various supreme god-level military formations. They held all kinds of weapons and charged towards the army of the blazing sun divine kingdom and Lord of 10,000 Evils together with the ultimate void race's army. The Lord of 10,000 Evils' pupils constricted when Zhou Fight saw this. He took out 10 supreme divine artifacts without hesitation and threw them into the ultimate void army. Then, he did something that none of the god spirits had expected. He said softly, explode. As soon as he finished speaking, the 10 supreme divine artifacts, which were enough to make countless supreme gods greedy, exploded on the spot. Its power was almost equivalent to the self-destruction of 20 supreme gods at the same time. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The ultimate void battleground suddenly fell silent. However, in this silence, countless ultimate void race god spirits, true god tiers, and even supreme gods had quietly fallen to AS for the attacks that the ultimate void race had been preparing for a long time. Nearly a third of them were forcibly negated by this shocking explosion. When Zhou Fight saw this, he took out another 20 grade 1 supreme divine artifacts without hesitation and threw them in front of the ultimate void race's army, causing them to self-destruct. Boom, 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 boom. At this moment, the heaven and earth were overshadowed by the brilliance of various laws. The two sides couldn't even see each other's army. They could only see the resplendent and violent light of the explosion. After a long time, when the light gradually dissipated, Lord of 10,000 Evils, who had regained his senses, immediately looked over. Then he gasped in shock at the scene in front of him. The 50 billion ultimate void god spirit army that had existed just now had suddenly decreased by more than 1 billion. And even 2 supreme gods had died. More than 3,000 master god tiers had also died. And the god spirit army under he had only lost more than 50 million god spirits. Moreover, there was not even a single supreme god among them. Only more than 500 master god tier had died. Of course, this was an extremely shocking loss if it were in the past. He would have felt heartache for hundreds of years. However, the other party had suffered even more losses. With this comparison, the Lord of 10,000 Evils immediately felt comfortable. And when he saw the number of casualties in the Zhou fight's Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, he was stunned. This was because he discovered that the army of gods from the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom seemed to be fine. They were still standing in an orderly line in the void, as if they were ready to fight at any time, and none of them had fallen. Not to mention the fallen supreme gods, even master god tiers, true god tiers, and even ordinary god spirits had not perished in the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom at most. He would be slightly injured, however. Their injuries healed quickly under their powerful recovery abilities. 0 death. The Lord of 10,000 Evils muttered in his heart. How is that possible? Even 10 supreme gods could not withstand the volley of attacks from the ultimate void army just now. Even if the self-destruction of Zhou fight's 30 supreme god artifacts offset most of the power of the other party's volley, the remaining aftershock was enough to cause him to suffer a lot of losses. How could there be 0 deaths? The Lord of 10,000 Evils naturally didn't know. Didn't that mean that none of Zhou fight's subordinates died? It was just that he automatically revived the moment he died. So he thought that he had died completely. Lord of 10,000 Evils looked at Zhou fight with a complicated expression when he came back to his senses. Only now did he realize the most important thing. This brother common people's regal of his actually used the self-destruction of a total of 30 supreme god artifacts to offset and counterattack the opponent's strongest first round of attack. Even though it was successfully resolved, the Lord of 10,000 Evils still felt heartache. That was a total of 30 supreme divine artifacts. It was enough for 5 fully armed supreme gods. You just threw it out and self-destructed? You can't make them like this even if they were only grade 1 supreme divine artifacts. Even willpower level existences would scold you for being a wastrel if they saw this. As for why the common people's regal had so many supreme divine artifacts, he knew that this was not a good time to ask about it. Even though he was puzzled, I'll ask that question next time at the same time. Behind the ultimate void race army, Rhoda, AI Do, and Amro stared blankly at the battlefield below. Am I seeing this right? Amro was at a loss. You're right. AI Do narrowed his eyes, unable to hide the shock in his eyes. This Supreme Lord's 4th Reserve Army forcefully self-destructed 30 Grade 1 Supreme Divine Artifacts in order to resolve our first round of fiercest attacks. Even though he suffered heavy losses, it's undeniable that he succeeded. Not only did our first round of attacks not work, but we even lost a lot of people on our side. Even 2 of our Supreme God companions died. I'm going to be criticized by the Void Emperor when I get back. AI Do sighed. Common People's Regal. Rhoda stared at the Common People's Regal below. I thought I had already overestimated you to the greatest extent, so I specially gathered an army to attack. I even personally borrowed treasures from the Void Emperor. I didn't expect to still underestimate you. You're really willing to part with 30 supreme divine artifacts? Rhoda shook his head. Their ultimate void race was the most unrestricted race in the ultimate void environment. So they were the best at living in the ultimate void like fish in water, and because of that, treasures from the ultimate void that could not be obtained by other races could be easily obtained by the ultimate void clan. Even though this kind of harvest was very random, after tens of thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years, or even longer, it still allowed their ultimate void race to accumulate a large amount of racial heritage, just like Master God tier divine artifacts and Supreme divine artifacts. The Master God tiers and Supreme gods of the ultimate void race each had one at least. Some of the richer Master God tiers and Supreme gods had several divine artifacts. Currently, a portion of the main divine artifacts and supreme divine artifacts that were circulating in the supreme great cosmos and the scarlet great cosmos were seized from the ultimate void race. However, the ultimate void race did not care about this. Sometimes, they would even take the initiative to give out divine artifacts to rope in the gods in the supreme great cosmos and the scarlet great cosmos, that it could be seen how many divine artifacts they had. But he didn't expect it either. The ultimate void race was very rich in terms of divine artifacts. However, this Supreme Lord's fourth reserve army from the Supreme did not seem to be inferior at all. No, it was more than not bad. When Rhoda recalled the scene of the 30 supreme divine artifacts self-destructing at the same time, he could not help but click his tongue. Throwing out 30 supreme divine artifacts at the same time in one go was not heartbreaking, even in their ultimate void race. Only those existences with willpower could do such a thing, right? This kid was just a newly promoted Supreme Lord Reserve. Where did he get so many supreme divine artifacts? Rhoda gritted his teeth. Without any time to think, he immediately ordered, "Continue to attack the army of Lord of 10,000 Evils and Common People's Regal. It doesn't matter if the first round of offensive is ineffective. Our military strength, the number of war machines, and the number of supreme gods far exceeds theirs. They can be crushed by sheer numbers." Rhoda thought for a moment and added, "In addition, find a few top supreme gods who are good at assassination to surround and kill the common people's regal and Lord of 10,000 Evils. Especially the common people's regal. He is the main target of assassination. We must kill him first. If the common people's regal doesn't die, I feel that there will be other accidents. Okay, then let me go. It's the safest choice for me to personally assassinate the common people's regal." Aidu immediately said. Rhoda nodded. Aidu was an assassin-type grade 4 supreme god. Among the supreme gods present, Aidu was ranked second in terms of assassination ability. No other god spirit dared to say that he was number 1. Rhoda was most assured that he would go. Amro was envious and jealous when he saw that. However, he knew his own business. His combat style was completely that of a warrior. He was really not good at the job of an assassin at all. Aidu, this guy, got a huge credit for nothing. He mumbled. At the same time, in the army of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom, even though Zhou fight looked calm on the surface, he heaved a sigh of relief in his heart when he saw that he had forcibly obtained the upper hand in the first round. It was good that he won with that level of attack just now. Other than thinking of using a large number of supreme god divine artifacts to self-destruct, Zhou fight really could not think of any other way to resolve an offensive of that level in a short period of time. As for the 30 supreme divine artifacts that were consumed, Zhou fight took a look at his number 1 treasure vault. There was a mountain of supreme divine artifacts that numbered in the tens of thousands. He felt that 30 grade 1 supreme divine artifacts were not a big deal. The god spirits of the ultimate void race had especially many divine artifacts on them. Every ultimate void god spirit would have at least one divine artifact on them. It was not uncommon for many to have an entire set of divine artifacts on them, with the help of Heavenly Fate Di Huang and various titles. The true god-tier divine artifacts, master god-tier divine artifacts, and supreme divine artifacts were all rendered useless by Zhou fight after some time. Zhou fight was confident that even if he had to compete with him in terms of the number of supreme divine artifacts, he would still be able to win. Right at that moment, Zhou fight saw that after the ultimate void race's army experienced the self-destruction of a supreme god artifact and attacked them again, he subconsciously wanted to use the Sun of Destiny. However, at that moment, a premonition prevented him from releasing it. That's not right. Since the Flame Duke Supreme God is a spy, there's a high chance that he will tell the other party about my insight defection ability. They can't be unprepared when they know what I'm capable of. Zhou fight thought for a moment. As he let the soldiers resist the attack of the ultimate void army, he took out the Bodhi Supreme and asked, "Bodhi Supreme, what method did the other party use to stop me from using the Sun of Destiny? Who did it to?" Two formal questions. Star. Zhou fight agreed without hesitation. The other party's method of stopping you from using the Sun of Destiny is A. willpower level treasure called the Resolute Treasure Seal. This treasure was accidentally obtained by the Void Emperor from the Ultimate Void. I don't know which alternate universe it came from, but it was originally one of the other party's treasures. Its effect is specially used to resist the bewitching methods of a son of destiny like you. Later on, after Rhoda learned about this from the Flame Duke Supreme God, he reported it to the Void Emperor. After the Void Emperor found out, he bestowed this treasure to him and let him use it to deal with you. The Bodhi Supreme commented, in other words, as long as I get the seal of resolution on Rhoda, I can use the Son of Destiny normally. Zhou Fight said, that's right. Bodhi Supreme nodded. I see. Zhou Fight nodded slightly. Then, he looked at Lord of 10,000 Evils. Brother Demon Lord, do you want to make a deal? Zhou Fight asked, what kind of deal? Lord of 10,000 Evils originally wanted to participate in the battle personally, but he didn't expect common people's regal to say such a thing, causing him to be stunned on the spot. Let's join forces and kill that supreme god of the void Rhoda. Then, I'll return the victory of the battle in front of you. How'd it go? Bottoms up. The Lord of 10,000 Evils nodded without hesitation and asked, which one is Rhoda? Zhou Fight. Zhou Fight waved his right hand and saw Rhoda's image and information appear in front of the Lord of 10,000 Evils. The Lord of 10,000 Evils took a look and his gaze landed on Rhoda, who was behind the other party's battlefield. Grade. For supreme gods have a certain level of difficulty. There's another 4th grade. Supreme god beside him. There are other god spirits of the ultimate void race guarding the surroundings. It will be difficult to forcefully assassinate them. The Lord of 10,000 Evils said, just as the Zhou Fight thought that the other party did not want to go. The Lord of 10,000 Evils smiled and said, however, we can try. He turned his head to look behind him. Hu Zhe, Xiantong. The two of you follow me to assassinate the enemy commander. If you succeed, you will be rewarded. Yes. 2 supreme gods of different races stood up and flew to the Lord of 10,000 Evils' side. Just as they were about to leave, Zhou Fight reached out and stopped them. Wait, is there anything else you want to tell us? The Lord of 10,000 Evils asked. You should be able to use these supreme divine artifacts. After Zhou Fight finished speaking, he waved his right hand and a total of 30 supreme divine artifacts appeared in front of them. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, Hu Zhe, and Xiantong only took a glance and were shocked to discover that these supreme divine artifacts were actually supreme divine artifacts that were perfectly compatible with their own nomological paths. They could not help but look at each other, since the other party could take out so many supreme divine artifacts. It could only prove that the other party had more supreme divine artifacts on him. Otherwise, he would definitely not be able to take out so many suitable supreme divine artifacts. How many supreme divine artifacts did this common people's regal have? They could not help but think. There was no time to think about the answer to this question. Hu Zhe and Xiantong made a few choices and took 8 supreme divine artifacts. The Lord of 10,000 Evils did not take it. That was because he already had an entire set of supreme divine artifacts on him, and it was an exclusive supreme divine artifact set that he had personally created for him. He did not need Zhou Fight's help. After Hu Zhe and Xiantong finished choosing, they saw Lord of 10,000 Evils take out a shadow cloak and float above his head. Then, Zhou Fight was surprised to see that the 2 supreme god-level consecrators of Lord of 10,000 Evils and he had actually disappeared into thin air in front of him. I hope it works. Zhou Fight thought to himself that it would naturally be best if they could use the Son of Destiny to win the war, that if there was really no other way, he could only use the supreme divine artifact to blast out a path of victory. That it was still too prodigal, even though they could still win this way. Even though Zhou Fight had the right to do this, it was naturally better not to do it. Then, he looked at the situation on the battlefield. However, after reading it, his expression immediately turned solemn. The situation on the battlefield was not good. The number of gods of the enemy was more than 5 times that of them after all. Moreover, in terms of the number of top combatants like Master God Tier and Supreme God, they far exceeded them. Even though the nearly 2 billion supreme soldier types under Zhou fight were almost not inferior to the enemy's 20 billion God Spirit army. However, these nearly 2 billion supreme soldier types and the 10 billion God Spirit army of more than 10,000 demon lords were still not a match for the 50 billion God Spirit army of the ultimate void race. Therefore, on the ultimate void battlefield, the divine spirits of the blazing sun divine kingdom were in a rare state of suppression. I can't believe that I've only been in the ultimate void battleground for such a short period of time, and these guys have already made such a big move. Zhou Fight shook his head. Then he patted the golden dragon horn in front of him and smiled faintly. Little dragon, bring out your capabilities and show them to the ultimate void race. Sure. The dragon god of all life nodded. Then he roared at the sky. Immediately after, a halo emitting a dark yellow nomological light emitted from his body and quickly spread to the entire battlefield. That Lord's law skill. Amnesty for all life. Lord law skill. Amnesty for all life. Instantly recover the injuries of all the soldiers on the battlefield and the soldiers on the right, allowing them to instantly recover their health and recover the energy in their bodies to a full state. Then, another white jade halo burst out from Little Dragon's body and quickly enveloped all the Divine Kingdom army and Lord of 10,000 Evil's army on the battlefield. That Lord's law skill, blessings of all life. Undying. Lord's law skill, blessed by all life. When your own soldiers and friendly soldiers on the battlefield are fatally injured, your own soldiers and friendly soldiers will not die immediately. Instead, they will continue to maintain their peak state when they are alive and will not truly die until an hour later. Then, another khaki-colored halo burst out from the little dragon's body and quickly enveloped all the Divine Kingdom army and Lord of 10,000 Evil's army on the battlefield. Lord's law skill, fearless blessing, increases the defense of the soldiers on the battlefield by 100% and gives them courage. They can face any powerful enemy fearlessly, calmly, and rationally. Then, another indescribably noble purple halo radiated from the little dragon's body, enveloping the entire battlefield, including the army of the blazing sun divine kingdom and Lord of 10,000 Evils. Lord's law skill, blessing of the heavens. Soldiers on the battlefield and friendly soldiers receive the blessing of the heavens. It's easier for them to encounter lucky things, such as dodging attacks, smooth release of skills, epiphany in battle, unexpected counterattacks, and other positive situations. Meanwhile, the enemy will always encounter all kinds of bad luck, such as exhaustion of magic power, skill backlash, mistakes in cooperation, accidentally injuring their comrades, and so on. Support halos burst forth from the dragon god of all life's body one after another. In the blink of an eye, all the troops of the blazing sun divine kingdom and Lord of 10,000 Evils present were enhanced by more than 30 support halos. I feel that I'm at least 5 to 6 times stronger than before. My speed has become so fast. How did my law skill become so much stronger? This feeling is really crazy. The army of the blazing sun divine kingdom and the army of Lord of 10,000 Evils were shocked by the increase in their strength, and this was only a superficial increase in combat power. They had yet to notice the various secret improvements, such as the blessings of the common people, the blessings of the common people, and the blessings of the gods. When they noticed it, they would definitely be even more shocked at this moment. A master god tier elementary grade god spirit from the Lord of 10,000 Evils camp was hiding from. Another master god tier advanced grade god spirit from the ultimate void race camp, when the dragon, god of all life's halo ability was augmented on him. The feeling of being caught off guard and improving in all aspects made he instantly stunned. He subconsciously stood rooted to the ground. When the master god tier advanced grade ultimate void god spirit behind, he saw this scene. He immediately sneered. You still have the guts to be distracted when you're escaping? Courting death. He seized this short moment and quickly came to the other party's side. He slashed at the other party's head with his sickle-shaped arms. However, right at this moment, this master god tier elementary grade god spirit seemed to have sensed the other party's attack. While dodging the other party's attack with incomparable precision, He unleashed his famous law skill, Flame Demon overflowing the heavens, accurately striking this Master God tier advance grade Ultimate Void God Spirit's body. Even though this Ultimate Void God Spirit was somewhat caught off guard by the other party's counterattack, he did not panic. He had the augmentation of the Master God tier Divine Artifact's inner armor on him. The attack of a Master God tier elementary grade God Spirit would not cause him much damage, he estimated confidently. However, in the next moment, a look of astonishment suddenly appeared on his face. Puff. He suddenly spat out a mouthful of divine blood and was sent flying more than 1,000 kilometers away. When he recovered from the heavy blow, he was shocked to discover that he had been severely injured by that Master God tier elementary grade God Spirit. At the same time, this Master God tier elementary grade God Spirit Underlord of 10,000 Evils also looked at his palm that was burning with purple demonic flames in shock. What happened just now? When did I have such powerful divine power? I can actually heavily injure a Master God tier advanced grade God Spirit with a single palm strike. Moreover, my reaction just now was also not right. I actually predicted the other party's attack in advance and dodged it like a Master God tier of the Law of Fate. Is this still me? He muttered. Then, he carefully sensed the changes in his body. Then, as if he had suddenly sensed something, he suddenly looked up at the dragon god of all life under Zhou fight. The dragon god under the common people's regal who bestowed us with powerful strength and other abilities. What? A powerful and magical dragon god. I've never seen a dragon god with such an ability. He looked elsewhere on the battlefield, under the powerful halo ability of the dragon god of all life. The army of the blazing sun divine kingdom and the army of Lord of 10,000 Evils seemed to have taken medicine. All of them were energetic and their combat strength had increased by more than 5 to 6 times. Originally, they were at a disadvantage under the attack of the Ultimate Void Army. However, after the support of the Dragon God of all life, they actually fought back and forth with the other party at this moment. They did not seem to be at a disadvantage at all. What a terrifying halo ability. The Master God tier said enviously. Then, he didn't have time to think and continued to engage in the war at the same time. The other divinities who participated in the battle had similar thoughts. That was because they were all under the halo ability of the Dragon God of all life. Their battlefield combat power and battlefield survival ability had been greatly improved. Even supreme gods were no exception, with the help of the Dragon God of all life. It was not a problem for the supreme gods on their side to fight 2 or even 3, and when Zhou Fight saw that the battle situation had stabilized, he nodded secretly. Then, he touched the dragon horn in front of him and smiled. Well done. The little dragon snorted and sounded very pleased with itself. Then, Zhou Fight was about to see how Lord of 10,000 Evils and the others were doing. At this moment, he inexplicably felt a strong sense of danger. Without thinking, he slashed out with his sword. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Law Skill. Heaven Destruction Dao. Clang, a crisp sound rang out. Rays of white light appeared from the void and formed AI Du's figure. However, in an instant, he turned into countless rays of light again and disappeared into the air. His cold voice echoed in the air. Law skills are good law skills. And supreme divine artifacts are also good supreme divine artifacts. Pity that it's not yours after all. You will definitely die in this next attack. Zhou Fight's expression was calm as he listened to these confident words. However, his body emitted a powerful supreme god's nomological pressure, coupled with his top-grade 3 Supreme God Realm Divine Artifact. He looked rather unapproachable. AI Du, who had turned into a colorless light and was hiding in the void, could not help but be secretly shocked when he saw Zhou Fight at this moment. Didn't the intelligence say that this guy was the Supreme Lord's 4th Reserve Army that had risen from the Lord? War of the 10,000 Races? Why did the newly emerged 4th Reserve Army seem to have the combat power of a top Supreme God now? Was this Supreme will so strong to nurture a new generation of Supreme Lord Reserve Army? He didn't guess too much to AI Du's attention returned to the assassination. However, at this moment, he suddenly discovered this Supreme Lord Reserve Army and did something he did not expect at all. All of a sudden, He dissipated his terrifying aura, and even his strength had decreased to the level of an ordinary grade 1 supreme god. After doing all this, he revealed a smile and did nothing else. What is this guy doing? Did he give up on himself and wait for death? However, he naturally wouldn't give up such a good opportunity. He immediately launched an assassination attempt on Zhou Fight's back. As long as we kill this common people's regal, we will win this war completely. AI. Du's eyes were filled with determination and fanaticism. The distance between the two was quickly closed by AI Du at an astonishing speed, just as he was about to stab into Zhou Fight's divine body and shatter his divine spark. Clang. The crisp sound of two blades colliding rang out. AI Du was shocked to see that not only was his light shadow demon saber blocked by the other party, it was also sent flying. With a thought, the lightsaber returned to his hand. Then, he looked at the black-robed saber man with a solemn expression. Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade? AI Du, the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade, said in a low voice. You have become weaker. AI Du's hands trembled slightly. He found it hard to imagine that this fellow, who had once been defeated by him, was now so strong. He even said that he had become weaker. You're clearly much stronger than before, okay? Previously, you could only barely fight me, a 4th grade supreme god. Now, this guy's strength is obviously not weaker than mine. In fact, in a head-on battle, he might even be stronger than me. That IT had only been a short while since they last met. So how did his strength increase so much? At the same time, when Zhou Fight saw the other party appear, a faint smile appeared on his face. That IT was precisely because he had sensed the other party's appearance that he had restrained his aura. With the other party around, his safety wouldn't be a problem after all. This was an existence who had killed a grade 4 supreme god like a dog after obtaining his 6 supreme god divine artifacts after all. At that time, it was only a puppet. Now, its main body had personally come. Your Excellency Heavenly Blade, I didn't expect to see you here. Zhou Fight smiled. I won't take your supreme god artifact for nothing. The supreme god of the Heavenly Blade said. Zhou Fight smirked. Back then, he did not give those 6 supreme god divine artifacts to the other party for nothing. Sure enough, he saw the reward. With the supreme god of the Heavenly Blade around, Zhou Fight felt more relaxed. How did your Excellency Heavenly Blade come to the ultimate void battleground? Was your Excellency stationed here in the first place? He asked curiously. Lord of 10,000 Evils definitely did not have your Excellency Heaven Blade under his command. Zhou Fight was very sure of this. That could only prove that the other party had applied to join the ultimate void battlefield alone as a lone god spirit. This was also allowed in the ultimate void battleground. But generally, only supreme gods could apply. Ordinary god spirits were not qualified to apply. No, I was cultivating in the boundless universe. After sensing danger on your side, I opened a spatial rift with my saber and jumped over. The supreme god of the Heavenly Blade said. Zhou Fight. Huh? Zhou Fight was stunned. He split open a spatial rift and jumped in? Are you kidding me? If it was so easy to enter the ultimate void battleground, the Supreme Will would not have limited the number of deities that could enter the ultimate void battleground. Unless, Your Excellency Heavenly Blade, it seems like you've made progress in the path of the sword. Zhou Fight tried to praise him. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade nodded slightly and said, I've gained some insights ever since we parted last time. Now, I feel that my sword Dao has touched the threshold of the Supreme Will realm. Zhou Fight's jaw dropped. The threshold of Supreme Will? Brother, aren't you a grade 3 Supreme God realm? You haven't even advanced to a grade 4 Supreme God, and you've already touched the threshold of Supreme Will? Genius. This word appeared in Zhou Fight's mind. This Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade was definitely a top genius. Even the word genius wasn't enough to describe him. He had touched the threshold of the Supreme Will realm without any legacies. If he wasn't a genius, what was he? No wonder he could slash open a spatial rift that led to the ultimate void battlefield. Indeed, the Supreme Gods could not do this. However, if it was a Supreme God who had touched the threshold of the Supreme Will realm, it would not be included. True Supreme Will realm existences could freely enter and exit the ultimate void battlefield after all. They could even bring God spirits to the ultimate void battlefield like the Supreme Will. Even though the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade had not reached that level, it was not a problem for him to come alone. I also have to thank you. If not for your 6 Supreme Divine Artifacts, I wouldn't have been able to touch that threshold. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade had a cold personality. However, no matter how aloof he was, he couldn't help but sound happy when he talked about his advancement. Anyone who knew that they had a chance to advance to the Supreme Willpower realm in the future would be like this. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade was no exception. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade suddenly sensed something. His gaze turned cold as he looked at the figure fleeing into the distance that it is AI Do. At this moment, AI Do's mind was filled with thoughts of escaping. What did he just hear? That guy who had once been defeated by him had actually become an existence that had touched the threshold of supreme will? Even in their ultimate void race, such an existence could directly become a top-notch existence under the Void Emperor's holy sun. No wonder that guy could send my saber flying with a single slash. Even if he was 1 level weaker, killing he was like killing a dog, let alone sending his saber flying, and no matter how stupid he was, he wouldn't want to fight against such an existence. Therefore, he only wanted to escape. He fled back to the Void Emperor and told His Excellency that there was a supreme will seed there. He begged the Void Emperor to kill he personally. An existence at the level of supreme will was enough to control the situation in the ultimate void battleground. Even the Void Emperor did not dare to underestimate it. They could not allow the Supreme Will to have another Supreme Will realm existence at this time now that they were about to take down the entire ultimate void battleground. However, at this moment, he suddenly saw a black-robed figure appear in front of he. He had a calm expression as he looked at AI Do quietly. Deity was the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade. AI Do looked at the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade for a few seconds and suddenly smiled. Heavenly Blade, even though you have touched the threshold of the Supreme Will realm, you will also be targeted by our ultimate void race. Go seek refuge with your Supreme Will Mother. Otherwise, you'll die behind me sooner or later. Eha! Gugu. Halfway through AI Do's laughter, he saw a saber beam arrive in front of him, as fast as a stream of light. The saber stabbed into his mouth and then shattered his head. He carried AI Do's corpse to Zhou Fight and threw it to him after doing all this. Is this for me? Zhou Fight asked curiously. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade nodded. Thank you very much. Zhou Fight smiled and nodded. Then, he directly extracted the other party's corpse and used the Lord Talent effect of the Lucky Star. A text notification appeared. Lord Talent notification. Your spoils of war have been enhanced by Heavenly Fate D. Huang. Perfect loots. Quality +1. Title hint. Your spoils of war have been affected by the titles of Strongest Lord of All Races and Strongest Lord of All Races. Number of loots plus 150%. Title hint. Your spoils of war have been affected by the title of King of 10,000 Kings. The number of loots increased by 100%. Lord Talent notification. You have obtained perfect loots. Lucky Star notification. You have obtained a special loots. Light Supreme God. AI Do's Puppet. Grade 4 Supreme God. Zhou Fight roughly took a look at the spoils of war of this Grade 4 Supreme God. He realized that this fellow was indeed one of the deputy commanders of the Ultimate Void Army this time. Already had 5 Supreme Divine Artifacts on him. Under the enhancement of the talent effect and title, it directly doubled to 20 Supreme Divine Artifacts, AS for the other Supreme God-level treasures and the Supreme God-level treasures that had been upgraded from Master God Tier +1. There were thousands of them in total. However, to Zhou Fight, who already had tens of thousands of Supreme God artifacts, this was naturally not worth his attention. His gaze landed on the spoils of war provided by the Lucky Star, a Grade 4 Supreme God Realm puppet. Zhou Fight smirked. He really got what he needed. Bodhi Supreme was right. This Lucky Star was indeed easy to drop puppet-type loots. Its only chance of using the Lucky Star on this guy was not in vain. He raised his head and looked at the battlefield on Lord of 10,000 Evil's side. Then, his expression froze slightly. That was because the situation on the Demon Lord's side did not seem too good. Your Excellency Heavenly Blade, can you please help my friend? Also, if possible, kill the leader, Rhoda, and bring his corpse to me. Zhou Fight said then. He pointed at Lord of 10,000 Evils and Rhoda, who were fighting the ultimate void supreme gods in the sky. Even if I'm not your friend, I'll still help the Supreme Lord when he is in trouble. Your Excellency. However, since you've taken the initiative to mention it, I'll give it a try and kill them all. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade said. Zhou Fight raised his eyebrows. This is bad. It had been faked by him. Were all saber players this cool? Just as he was thinking, the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade had already raised his blade and turned into a black blade light, rushing towards the battlefield of Lord of 10,000 Evils and Rhoda. He didn't seem to care to hide from the enemies fighting in the center. However, the god spirits of the ultimate void race naturally would not allow this fellow to charge past them and reinforce their enemies. Stop him. Someone shouted first. In the blink of an eye, 3 supreme gods appeared in front of the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade and blocked his way. You want to help your Supreme Lord Reserve Army? You have to get past us first. A grade 3 ultimate void supreme god said with a sinister smile. He could tell that the other party was only a grade 3 supreme god realm, while he and the other 2 were both grade 3 supreme god realm. It was impossible for 3 grade 3s to defeat a grade 3. However, in the next second, a saber light that illuminated the entire void lit up. Grade 3 Lord Law Skill, immeasurable saber light. Swoosh. The Supreme God of the Ultimate Void looked coldly at the empty space in front of him. A crack that emitted a faint purple light suddenly appeared on his forehead, and the faint sound of the divine spark shattering could be heard from the crack. In the next second, splash. His entire body was split in half, and divine blood and flesh scattered all over the sky. The bodies of the other 2 supreme gods were also incomplete in an instant. They wanted to repair their broken limbs, but they were horrified to find that there was a powerful blade light at their broken limbs that prevented them from recovering. They felt despair when they saw this, with a single slash. 1 dead and 2 seriously injured. Why was this grade 3 supreme god realm from the Supreme Wolf faction so terrifying? At this moment, Saros saw the supreme gods under the Lord of 10,000 Evils. He laughed hideously and charged at them. A moment later, he would slay them under his blade at the same time. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, on the other hand, fell into a bitter battle. He had just secretly led Hu Zhe and Xian Tong to Rhoda's side. Unexpectedly, just as he was about to kill Rhoda, he was discovered by him. Then, they appeared and began a fierce battle with the 2 4th-grade supreme gods, Rhoda and Amro. Then, 2 grade 1 supreme god guards guarding Rhoda and Amro rushed over. A total of 4 ultimate void supreme gods were engaged in a fierce battle with Lord of 10,000 Evils and the other 2 supreme gods. Lord of 10,000 Evils was indeed the Supreme Lord's 3rd Reserve Army. Even though he was only a grade 3 supreme god realm, not only did he not fall into a disadvantageous position in the battle against Rhoda, he even firmly held a huge advantage. It could be said that as long as he was given enough time, he could completely kill Rhoda. However, at this moment, an accident happened. A total of 5 Void Supreme Gods suddenly appeared from the void and joined the battle, fighting with Lord of 10,000 Evils and the others. Only then did Lord of 10,000 Evils realize that the ultimate void race had brought a total of 25 supreme gods, not 20. 9 supreme gods of the ultimate void camp versus 3 supreme gods of the supreme will camp. The Lord of 10,000 Evils and the others, who originally had the advantage, fell into an absolute disadvantage under the number of supreme gods of the ultimate void that was 3 times theirs. They wanted to temporarily retreat from the battlefield, but they soon discovered that these ultimate supreme gods of the void had long anticipated their intention to retreat and had already set up arrays around them, not to mention escaping. Even the reinforcements couldn't break in. Ha 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 ha. Lord of 10,000 Evils, don't tell me you really think that we were negligent by being here. We already expected that you wouldn't be able to deal with the main battlefield and could only take the risk to assassinate us, so we specially set up an ambush here. I was waiting for you, haha. Rhoda laughed wildly. Lord of 10,000 Evil's expression sank slightly, but his mouth was not at a disadvantage. You've ambushed me many times in the past, but I'm still alive and well. This time, you won't succeed either. He said, we'll know in a while. Let's attack together and kill him. I'll ask your excellency for credit later, Rhoda said. Then, he took the lead and rushed forward. The other 8 supreme gods immediately followed. The two sides started fighting again. The more Lord of 10,000 Evils fought, the more his heart sank that Zhou Zhou and Xiantong also had a bad feeling. This was because they discovered that these ultimate void supreme gods not only outnumbered them in numbers, but they were also terrifyingly numerous on supreme god artifacts. Every supreme god had at least 3 supreme divine artifacts on them. Among them, Rhoda had a full set of supreme divine artifacts. The Lord of 10,000 Evils had only seen this supreme divine artifact configuration a few times in the few major battles in the ultimate void battleground. He did not expect to see him again today at the same time. He felt somewhat glad. Fortunately, before they came, Zhou Zhou and Xiantong had borrowed a complete set of supreme divine artifacts from the common people's regal, allowing their battle prowess to not be inferior to a top-tier 4 supreme god at all. Otherwise, once Zhou Zhou and Xiantong were surrounded and killed, him, who was alone, would definitely not be able to last until now. Ha! Lord of 10,000 Evils, how is it? Do you feel the feeling of despair? Rhoda felt that the situation was already under control. He was still in the mood to laugh as he attacked Lord of 10,000 Evils. I'll give you a chance to surrender to His Excellency the Great Void Emperor. You are a god spirit with extremely high potential. There is an extremely high chance that you will advance to the Supreme Will Realm in the future. The Void Emperor will definitely admire you greatly if you join us. He might even give you the position of the Void Holy Son. At that time, I will have to address you respectfully even if I see you. How's it going? Join us. I guarantee that it will be much more comfortable than staying with the Supreme Will. He was extremely sincere in his words. He sincerely wanted to invite Lord of 10,000 Evils to join them. The Lord of 10,000 Evils sneered. Let's see if you can still spout such nonsense when I chop off your head. Looks like you're asking for death. Then I'll fulfill your wish. All god spirits, attack them with all your might. There's no need to hold back. Yes, the 8 ultimate void god spirits shouted. Then, they surrounded and killed Lord of 10,000 Evils with all their might, making the pressure on Lord of 10,000 Evils even greater. Even though the Lord of 10,000 Evils said it forcefully, he still found it difficult to endure such a situation. Do I have to abandon my 2 brothers and escape? The Lord of 10,000 Evils' mind raced. He still had the trump card that the Supreme Will had rewarded him. It was not a problem for he to escape, but what about Zhou Zhou and Xiantong? These 2 supreme gods had been following him since he rose. He was really unwilling to abandon them, unless he was really in a desperate situation at this moment. The Lord of 10,000 Evils and the others suddenly sensed something and looked down. A black saber light appeared in the distance like a pillar of light. In the blink of an eye, it passed through the army and shot over like a sharp beam, swoosh. In a split second, the layers of arrays set up by Rhoda and the others were shattered by the black saber beam. Which expert is it? Rhoda shouted and was the first to charge forward. My name is Heavenly Blade. I'm here to kill you. He finished speaking, swoosh. A resplendent saber beam lit up. Grade 3 Lord Law skill. Immeasurable saber light. Rhoda was shocked. He immediately picked up his giant axe, the supreme divine artifact, and used it to block in front of him. Boom. He was sent flying more than 10 light years away by the saber. Then, he suddenly spat out a mouthful of divine blood. When he looked at his supreme divine artifact again, he was shocked to discover that a crack had actually appeared on his supreme god artifact. Rhoda was shocked. This was a grade 4 supreme divine artifact. Even a top supreme god would not be able to crack it. Where did this guy come from? At this moment, the supreme god of the heavenly blade shot out another brilliant blade light with the intention to conquer the world. Grade 3 Lord Law skill. Heavens will like a knife. This slash completely shattered the supreme divine artifact in Rhoda's hand. Then, The supreme god of the heavenly blade released the third blade light. With a single slash, 10,000 Dao annihilation. Grade 3 Lord Law skill, heaven destroying Dao. A saber beam filled with a destructive aura flashed across countless light years and slashed through Rhoda's divine body. Rhoda opened his mouth wide. Then, his divine body silently split into two and stopped breathing. Grade 4 Ultimate Void Supreme God, Rhoda. 3 slashes. Fallen. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, Zhou Zhou, Xiantong, and the other 8 Ultimate Void Supreme Gods watched this scene in a daze. Rhoda, the top Ultimate Void Supreme God, died just like that? They did not even have time to react before they were killed under the protection of the 8 Ultimate Void Supreme Gods. A thought appeared in their minds. Where did this Supreme God come from? At this moment, the face of the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade finally appeared in front of the gods. Your Excellency, Heaven Blade? The Lord of 10,000 Evils said in surprise. Is it the Heavenly Blade? Zhou Zhou and Xiantong were also very shocked. They naturally knew this #1 saber expert among the supreme gods in the past years. The other party had even joined the Ultimate Void battlefield alone as a lone god spirit and fought the Ultimate Void army with them. The Lord of 10,000 Evils had even tried to recruit him. But unfortunately, he was rejected by the other party on the grounds that he liked freedom and did not like being restrained at that time. The Lord of 10,000 Evils did not care. He had done similar things. Too many times after all. It was not the first time he had failed. Almost every supreme god who came to the Ultimate Void battlefield to fight against the Ultimate Void race, him, had been recruited. They mainly focused on casting a wide net to catch more fish. He had 3 supreme gods under his command, and he had recruited them in such a way. Even though he had failed in everything else, he was still happy. He just didn't expect its supreme god of the Heavenly Blade, who had once rejected him, had actually grown to this extent. 1 god and 3 slashes killed the strongest grade 4 supreme god, Rhoda. Rhoda could not even resist. What kind of strength was this? Could it be quasi-willpower level? The Lord of 10,000 Evils muttered. Only an expert of this level or a supreme god who came into contact with this level could have such strength that exceeded comprehension. Was the supreme god of the Heavenly Blade already a quasi-willpower expert? At the thought of this, he suddenly felt an inexplicable sense of lost this moment. The supreme god of the Heavenly Blade used the cloning technique to create a clone of himself. Then, this clone picked up Rhoda's corpse and turned into a black saber beam that flew in the direction of Zhou fight. Along the way, no Ultimate Void God Spirit dared to stop this person's path forward. It was simply as if he had entered an uninhabited place. However, the God Spirits present, including Lord of 10,000 Evils, Amro, and the other Ultimate Void God Spirits, felt that it was only right. This was a supreme god expert infinitely close to the quasi-will level. Stop him? Who dares to stop him? Even if it was just a clone, it was not something they could easily deal with. Then, Amro and the others looked at the main body of the supreme god of the Heavenly Blade again. Then, they saw this supreme god of the Heavenly Blade looking at them as if they were dead. I promised your excellency the common people's regal. I'm going to kill you all. Heavenly Blade said in a low voice. The remaining 8 Ultimate Void Supreme Gods turned around without hesitation and flew in all directions. He immediately used the technique to escape into the Ultimate Void so that the killing god could not find them. If it was Lord of 10,000 Evils, there was really nothing he could do against such a method of escaping into the Ultimate Void. Unfortunately, they were facing the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade, who had already touched the threshold of supreme will. With a thought from the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade, 7 clones instantly appeared beside him. The 8 Supreme God of the Heavenly Blades raised their blades at the same time and cut open a void crack in front of them. Then, these 8 Supreme God of the Heavenly Blades entered the void crack at the same time and disappeared. These 8 void cracks quickly healed after the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade disappeared. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, Zhou Zhou, and Xiantong looked at each other, not knowing what to do next. The other Ultimate Void God Spirits nearby did not dare to approach them. afraid that the killing god would return and casually kill them. Lord Demon Lord, what should we do now? Huja transmitted his voice. Xiantong also looked at the Lord of 10,000 Evils nervously. Don't panic. The Lord of 10,000 Evils said calmly. Your Excellency, Heavenly Blade's prestige is still there. If we make any abnormal movements now, it will make us look timid. At that time, we will be in danger. We'll wait here. Waiting for what? Huja immediately asked. Wait for the common people's regal to attack. Just now, the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade had already killed the Grade 4 Ultimate Supreme God of the Void, Rhoda. He also sent a divine power clone to send Rhoda's corpse back to him. Your Excellency, Heavenly Blade has already done what the common people's regal wants. Next, let's see how the common people's regal makes a comeback. The Lord of 10,000 Evils said that Huja and Xiantong looked at each other, even though they trusted their lord's decision very much. Could that brat, common people's regal, really lead them to turn the tables? The two god spirits thought about the young appearance of the common people's regal, even though they knew that he had already taken down 2 ultimate void-based cities. They still felt that it was a little unreliable. However, they had no choice now. They could only trust this new Supreme Lord Reserve Army at the same time. Zhou Fight looked at the clone of the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade in front of him and the corpse of Rhoda in his hand. A smile appeared on his face, as expected of a top Supreme God expert who had touched the threshold of Supreme Will. Despite the pressure of the 9 ultimate Void Supreme Gods, he could still easily kill Rhoda and bring his corpse back as if he had entered an uninhabited place. Such a battle record. This was the first time Zhou Fight had seen it. It was too shocking. At this moment, the clone of the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade put down Rhoda's corpse and let he float in front of Zhou Fight. Then, he said, my main body needs my help. I'll go back first. Sure. Zhou Fight did not ask further and nodded. The Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade nodded. Then, his divine body collapsed into countless light spots and dissipated in the ultimate void. Zhou Fight looked thoughtfully at the spot where the other party had disappeared. The ultimate void Supreme Gods were all extremely good at escaping through the void, especially since they were in an environment suitable for them to fight in the ultimate void battlefield. They would definitely be able to escape like fish in water, even if the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade had already touched the threshold of Supreme Will. He was probably not much stronger than them in terms of pursuit. Of course, he could definitely kill him. At most, it would waste a little more time in pursuit. During this period of time, nothing could go wrong on his side. It's more than nothing going wrong. Zhou Fight looked at Rhoda's corpse in front of him and smiled. Then, he directly extracted the other party's loots. This Rhoda was indeed the commander-in-chief of the Ultimate Void Coalition Army. Other than the 6 Supreme Divine Artifacts he was wearing, there were 4 other Supreme Divine Artifacts with different functions in his World Ring. Moreover, 4 of the Supreme Divine Artifacts had reached the peak of Grade 4. Zhou Fight naturally accepted them with a smile and put them all on. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, Huja, Xiantong, and the other 8 Ultimate Void Supreme Gods watched this scene in a daze. Rhoda, the top Ultimate Void Supreme God, died just like that? They did not even have time to react before they were killed under the protection of the 8 Ultimate Void Supreme Gods. A thought appeared in their minds. Where did this Supreme God come from? At this moment, the face of the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade finally appeared in front of the gods. Your Excellency, Heaven Blade? The Lord of 10,000 Evils said in surprise. Is it the Heavenly Blade? Huja and Xiantong were also very shocked. They naturally knew this #1 saber expert among the Supreme Gods in the past years. The other party had even joined the Ultimate Void battlefield alone as a lone god spirit and fought the Ultimate Void army with them. The Lord of 10,000 Evils had even tried to recruit him, but unfortunately, he was rejected by the other party on the grounds that he liked freedom and did not like being restrained at that time. The Lord of 10,000 Evils did not care. He had done similar things too many times after all. It was not the first time he had failed. Almost every Supreme God who came to the Ultimate Void battlefield to fight against the Ultimate Void race, him, had been recruited. They mainly focused on casting a wide net to catch more fish. He had 3 supreme gods under his command, and he had recruited them in such a way. Even though he had failed in everything else, he was still happy. He just didn't expect its supreme god of the heavenly blade, who had once rejected him, had actually grown to this extent. 1 god and 3 slashes killed the strongest grade 4 supreme god, Rhoda. Rhoda could not even resist. What kind of strength was this? Could it be quasi-willpower level? The Lord of 10,000 Evils muttered. Only an expert of this level or a supreme god who came into contact with this level could have such strength that exceeded comprehension. Was the supreme god of the heavenly blade already a quasi-willpower expert? At the thought of this, he suddenly felt an inexplicable sense of lost this moment. The supreme god of the heavenly blade used the cloning technique to create a clone of himself. Then, this clone picked up Rhoda's corpse and turned into a black saber beam that flew in the direction of Zhou fight. Along the way, no ultimate void god spirit dared to stop this person's path forward. That it was simply as if he had entered an uninhabited place. However, the god spirits present, including Lord of 10,000 Evils, Amro, and the other ultimate void god spirits, felt that it was only right. This was a supreme god expert infinitely close to the quasi-will level. Stop him? Who dares to stop him? Even if it was just a clone, it was not something they could easily deal with. Then, Amro and the others looked at the main body of the supreme god of the heavenly blade again. Then, they saw this supreme god of the heavenly blade looking at them as if they were dead. I promised your excellency the common people's regal. I'm going to kill you all. Heavenly Blade said in a low voice. The remaining 8 ultimate void supreme gods turned around without hesitation and flew in all directions. He immediately used the technique to escape into the ultimate void so that the killing god could not find them. That if it was Lord of 10,000 Evils, there was really nothing he could do against such a method of escaping into the ultimate void. Unfortunately, they were facing the supreme god of the heavenly blade, who had already touched the threshold of supreme will. With a thought from the supreme god of the heavenly blade, 7 clones instantly appeared beside him. The 8 supreme god of the heavenly blades raised their blades at the same time and cut open a void crack in front of them. Then, these 8 supreme god of the heavenly blades entered the void crack at the same time and disappeared. These 8 void cracks quickly healed after the supreme god of the heavenly blade disappeared. The Lord of 10,000 Evils, Zhou Zhou, and Xiantong looked at each other, not knowing what to do next. The other ultimate void god spirits nearby did not dare to approach them, afraid that the killing god would return and casually kill them. Lord Demon Lord, what should we do now? Zhou Zhou transmitted his voice. Xiantong also looked at the Lord of 10,000 Evils nervously. Don't panic. The Lord of 10,000 Evils said calmly. Your Excellency, Heavenly Blade's prestige is still there. If we make any abnormal movements now, it will make us look timid. At that time, we will be in danger. We'll wait here. Waiting for what? Zhou Zhou immediately asked. Wait for the common people's regal to attack. Just now, the supreme god of the heavenly blade had already killed the grade 4 ultimate supreme god of the void, Rhoda. He also sent a divine power clone to send Rhoda's corpse back to him. Your Excellency, Heavenly Blade has already done what the common people's regal wants. Next, let's see how the common people's regal makes a comeback. The Lord of 10,000 Evils said that Zhou Zhou and Xiantong looked at each other, even though they trusted their lord's decision very much. Could that brat, common people's regal, really lead them to turn the tables? The 2 god spirits thought about the young appearance of the common people's regal. Even though they knew that he had already taken down 2 ultimate void-based cities, they still felt that it was a little unreliable. However, they had no choice now. They could only trust this new Supreme Lord Reserve armied at the same time. Zhou Fight looked at the clone of the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade in front of him and the corpse of Rhoda in his hand. A smile appeared on his face, as expected of a top Supreme God expert who had touched the threshold of Supreme Will. Despite the pressure of the 9 ultimate void supreme gods, he could still easily kill Rhoda and bring his corpse back as if he had entered an uninhabited place. Such a battle record. This was the first time Zhou Fight had seen it. It was too shocking. At this moment, the clone of the supreme god of the heavenly blade put down Rhoda's corpse and let he float in front of Zhou Fight. Then, he said, "My main body needs my help. I'll go back first." "Sure." Zhou Fight did not ask further and nodded. The supreme god of the heavenly blade nodded. Then, his divine body collapsed into countless light spots and dissipated in the ultimate void. Zhou Fight looked thoughtfully at the spot where the other party had disappeared. The ultimate void supreme gods were all extremely good at escaping through the void, especially since they were in an environment suitable for them to fight in the ultimate void battlefield. They would definitely be able to escape like fish in water, even if the supreme god of the heavenly blade had already touched the threshold of supreme will. He was probably not much stronger than them in terms of pursuit. Of course, he could definitely kill him. At most, it would waste a little more time in pursuit. During this period of time, nothing could go wrong on his side. It's more than nothing going wrong. Zhou Fight looked at Rhoda's corpse in front of him and smiled. Then, he directly extracted the other party's loots. This Rhoda was indeed the commander-in-chief of the Ultimate Void Coalition army. Other than the 6 supreme divine artifacts he was wearing, there were 4 other supreme divine artifacts with different functions in his world ring. Moreover, 4 of the supreme divine artifacts had reached the peak of grade 4. Zhou Fight naturally accepted them with a smile and put them all on. The Lord of 10,000 Evils immediately became excited thinking of this. If they could win this battle, it would be the first major victory in the Ultimate Void battleground in the past 5,000 years. They had also obtained a victory of this scale 5,000 years ago, under the lead of the Supreme Will and the Supreme Army. However, as the Supreme Will shifted its attention to the Illusionist clan and the Supreme Army left the Ultimate Void battleground, everything returned to normal. Even the territory obtained from that battle was quickly reclaimed by the Ultimate Void clan. The Lord of 10,000 Evils often hated himself for not being capable enough. But he was helpless against the powerful void race that occupied the right time, place, and advantage. However, everything has changed with Zhou Fight's arrival. First, they took down 2 ultimate void bases. And now, they were about to defeat an ultimate void army. The Lord of 10,000 Evils had not dared to think of such a result. For a long time, this was all brought about by this Supreme Lord's 4th Reserve Army. Hurry, let's join the battlefield and kill a few more Ultimate Void Supreme Gods. You won't have any credit at all if you continue to sit out. The Lord of 10,000 Evils suddenly realized this and hurriedly said. Then, he was the first to rush towards an Ultimate Void Supreme God on the battlefield below. Hu Zhe and Xian Tong also realized this and hurriedly rushed down to kill this Ultimate Void Supreme God with the Lord of 10,000 Evils. Victory was imminent. If he didn't attack now, he wouldn't have a chance to attack. When the 3 gods surrounded and killed this Ultimate Void Supreme God, their mentality was also quite strange. They never expected that their mentality had undergone such a huge change in such a short period of time. On the other side, Zhou Fight looked at the current situation and nodded slightly. Not surprisingly, he had most likely won this war, and it was only a matter of time. 2 hours later, as the last ultimate void god spirit was killed, the entire battlefield finally lost the clamor of the massacre, leaving only the sound of the god spirits cleaning up the battlefield. Zhou Fight and Lord of 10,000 Evils led the god spirits to Wanlong City after the battlefield was cleaned up. On the surface, Wanlong City was protected by a supreme god-level defense facility. However, they broke through this supreme god-level defense facility and easily entered Wanlong City with just 1 round of attacks. Bai Yun and Hu Zhe joined forces and led a group of god spirits to search the entire Wanlong City before returning to Zhou Fight and Lord of 10,000 Evils, reporting to your majesty. There's no ultimate void god spirit in the entire Wanlong City. Even that supreme god-level defense facility is not presided over by a god spirit. It's all because of its defensive instincts. Bai Yun reported. I knew it. How can a grade 3 supreme god realm defensive building be so fragile? The Lord of 10,000 Evils shook his head. Have you found the base star core? Zhou Fight asked, Found it. Bring this emperor along. Yes, your majesty, Bai Yun said respectfully. Then, he began to lead the way. Zhou Fight looked at Lord of 10,000 Evils and smiled. Brother Demon Lord, how about coming with me? Brother Common People's Regal, I won't go when you're inspecting your loots. The Lord of 10,000 Evils smiled, even though he also wanted to witness the official occupation of the main city of the myriad Dragon War territories. He still knew when and what he should and should not do. However, Zhou Fight shook his head. This time, it was Brother Demon Lord and I who took down Wanlong City together. Now that we're going to completely take over Wanlong City, how can I go alone? Brother Demon Lord, come with me. Really? Lord of 10,000 Evils could not help but ask. Brother Common People's Regal seemed to want to share this result with him. However, in this war, he and his subordinates were almost useless. At most, before he took down Rhoda, his evil army and the main combat army of the Blazing Sun Divine Kingdom resisted the ultimate Void Army for a period of time to summon the Supreme God of the Heavenly Blade for Zhou Fight to take down Rhoda. Next was the matter of Zhou Fight using the Sun of Destiny to turn the tide. He and his subordinates did almost nothing. Could this be shared with the Common People's Regal? Of course. Zhou Fight could tell what Lord of 10,000 Evils was thinking at a glance. He could not help but sigh inwardly. How long had it been since this guy had encountered a victory on such a scale? He was so careful when sharing the spoils of war with him. And Lord of 10,000 Evils did not guess wrongly. Zhou Fight was indeed willing to share the results with him. As for why he didn't enjoy the spoils of war alone, the reason was very simple. First, even though Lord of 10,000 Evils had some thoughts about competing for the Supreme Lord position, at least he did not have any dirty tricks. Instead, he was willing to compete fair and square with him. That point alone was enough to make Zhou Fight feel that the other party was at least a respectable opponent. So he had a good impression of him. Second, Zhou Fight was clearly much more outstanding than Lord of 10,000 Evils from the performance of this war. Since their performance was clear, it did not matter how much higher they were in that case. It was better to share a portion of the results with Lord of 10,000 Evils. This way, he might be able to fight for the other party to become his ally. Moreover, he could prevent himself from looking ugly in the eyes of the Supreme Will. He had come to crusade against Wanlong City with Lord of 10,000 Evils after all. Moreover, the other party had indeed contributed. So he really shouldn't monopolize the results at this moment. Lord of 10,000 Evils could also tell that Zhou Fight indeed wanted to share the results of the battle with him. The smile on his face immediately became even more sincere. If that's the case, I'll accept it respectfully, like how you say it in the Cerulean planet. Brother Demon Lord, you're so considerate. You actually understand my native language. Zhou Fight chuckled. Then, the two of them, together with a group of supreme gods, passed through the main district of Wanlong City and arrived at the City Lord Manor. Finally, they stopped in an independent, small world inside the City Lord Manor. These ultimate Void Master God tier had opened up an exclusive small world in the City Lord Manor in order to protect the Void Base Star Core, the Lord of 10,000 Evils looked at the Grade 3 Base Star Core in front of him with emotion in his eyes. Zhou Fight looked at the Grade 3 Base Star Core and smiled. Base name, Wanlong Main City, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Base. Treasure name, Void Base Star Core, Polluted. Treasure grade, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Treasure effect, it can become the core of the base after determining the location of the base. With the base star core as the center, it can create any kind of base and add any buildings. At the same time, it can monitor all life forms within a radius of 100 million light years. Note 1. This base star core is a polluted void base star core. You can purify it with 1 million military credits and restore it to its original appearance and effect. Note 2. If you fuse 3 Grade 2 Supreme God Base Star Cores or Void Base Star Cores, you can evolve them into Grade 3 Supreme God Base Star Cores or Grade 3 Supreme God Void Base Star Cores. Prompt. Do you want to purify and occupy it? Purify and occupy, Zhou Fight said. In the next second, a text notification appeared. In the process of purification, congratulations, you have successfully occupied Kai's city, Grade 1 Supreme God-level war base, and purified the void-base star core. Please name your war base and choose the form of your base. Zhou Fight said. The war base is called the Blazing Sun Base Planet No. 3. Base form chooses planet. Change completed. Zhou Fight looked over. Base name, Blazing Sun Base Planet No. 3. Grade 3 Supreme God Realm Base. Treasure name, Supreme Base Star Core. Treasure grade, Grade 3 Supreme God Realm. Treasure effect. It can become the core of the base after determining the location of the base. With the base star core as the center, it can create any kind of base and add any buildings. At the same time, it can monitor all life forms within a radius of 100 million light-years. Zhou Fight nodded slightly after reading it. This time, they had completely occupied Wanlong City. Suddenly, lines of new text notifications appeared in front of Zhou Fight. Ultimate Void Battlefield Mission Tips. Congratulations. Lord of the Blazing Sun, you have successfully conquered the main city of Wanlong and the entire Wanlong War territory, and eliminated or conquered Void General Savoy, Grade 1 Supreme God. Eliminated Void General Thunder Emperor, Grade 2 Supreme God. Eliminated Void General Yuli, Grade 2 Supreme God. Eliminated Void General Yuka, Grade 2 Supreme God. Eliminated Void General Wanlong, Grade 3 Supreme God, and are rewarded with 10 million military merit points, 5 Supreme God-level mission medals, and 1 opportunity to promote the race artifact. Zhou Fight smiled and opened his mission panel. User, Lord of the Blazing Sun, Supreme Lord's 4th Reserve Army. Ultimate Void Battlefield, 2nd Leader of the Supreme Will Camp. Military merits, 1.4 million points mission medal, 8 Supreme Mission medals other reward, 1 chance to advance to a racial divine artifact. Zhou Fight nodded in satisfaction after reading it. Now, the only mission I have left is the exclusive mission of conquering the Void Mystic Realm. He thought to himself that he could start on this mission after he sent someone to gather information to AT this moment. The Lord of 10,000 Evils congratulated and sighed. Congratulations to Brother Common People's Regal for conquering the main city of Wanlong and taking down the entire territory of the Wanlong War. How many years has it been? We've finally done this again. I have to thank Brother Demon Lord for your help. I can't do this on my own. Brother Common People's Regal, you flatter me. The two of them exchanged pleasantries at this moment. Endless white lights suddenly lit up in the sky. These white lights gathered together to form a pure white EYE.IT was the Supreme Eye. When Zhou Fight, the Lord of 10,000 Evils, the Supreme Gods, and all their subordinates saw this Supreme Eye, they bowed without hesitation and extremely respectfully. Greetings, Lord Supreme Eye. Common People's Regal, Lord of 10,000 Evils. The Supreme Eye said, we're here. The two god spirits stood up and said respectfully. The Supreme Eye's pure white eyes swept across Zhou Fight and Lord of 10,000 Evils. Its gaze stopped on Zhou Fight for a while, and its eyes revealed obvious satisfaction. The two of you have retaken the entire territory of the 10,000 Dragon War and made a great contribution. The rewards for your missions are no longer enough to reward you for what you did. Tell me, what do you want? Zhou Fight and the Lord of 10,000 Evils' eyes lit up at the same time. The Supreme Eye was asking them for their opinion. This was a rare opportunity. Zhou Fight and the Lord of 10,000 Evils looked at each other. The Lord of 10,000 Evils wanted Zhou Fight to speak first, but Zhou Fight shook his head slightly. Seeing this, the Lord of 10,000 Evils knew that the other party had not thought it through. Hence, he pondered for a second and stood up. Reporting to the Supreme Will, I actually didn't contribute much in this battle. Most of the things were done by the Common People's Regal. It was also him who turned the situation around and saved us. Therefore, I'm really embarrassed to ask for anything. Lord of 10,000 Evils stopped talking after saying that. The Supreme Eye looked at Lord of 10,000 Evils. A few seconds later, it said, Lord of 10,000 Evils, as the leader of the ultimate void battlefield. Even though you don't have enough progress, you didn't disappoint me in terms of conservation. I'm also very satisfied that you and the Common People's Regal are on the same side this time to snatch back the territory of the 10,000 Dragon War. These are 3 supreme proofs. Take them as your reward. I hope you can work with the common peoples Regal in the future to protect this territory of the ultimate void battlefield and not let the ultimate void race invade our supreme universe. Also, your previous mistakes are over. You don't have to dwell on the past and the future. Prepare for the future with all your might. Thank you, Lord Supreme Will. The Lord of 10,000 Evils was overjoyed. The Supreme Will forgave him for losing his territory when he faced the ultimate void race in the past. This had always been the biggest knot in his heart. He did not expect that the Supreme Will would actually be willing to forgive him now. Supreme Proofs. What's that? Zhou Fight was curious. However, he didn't ask. He was thinking about what he wanted. Was he going to increase the number of supreme gods around him? That was not necessary. He had the Son of Destiny. So he was destined to have no lack of supreme god-level experts in the future. It was even more impossible for him to want a divine artifact. Increase his strength level? Even though Zhou Fight was only at the strength realm of an advanced grade master god tier, his true combat strength was no longer inferior to an ordinary grade 4 supreme god. Therefore, he did not have much need for this. He wanted to protect his trump card? That was possible. However, Zhou Fight felt uninterested. With Heavenly Fate Di Huang around, he could have as many treasures as he wanted in the future. There was no need to use this precious opportunity on this just because he lacked treasures. Woman? That was even more impossible. Then what did he need? Suddenly, Zhou Fight knew what he wanted. That was indeed what he needed the most at the moment, this moment. The Supreme Eye also turned its gaze to Zhou Fight. Clone of common people's Regal, have you thought of what you want? The Supreme Eye asked. Lord Supreme Eye, I want a treasure to increase my will realm. Zhou Fight said his will realm had been improving slowly after he entered the will divine transformation realm, even though his inheritances from the other supreme gods could allow him to have more understanding of the will divine transformation realm. The time saved was not enough for Zhou Fight's will to increase greatly in a short period of time. If his willpower could not increase, it would be difficult for his strength and realm to increase. His main body was already used to the feeling of his strength increasing rapidly. Such a slow increase made him and his clones somewhat depressed. That was why he made such a request. This was also the reward that Zhou Fight felt that his main body wanted the most.